All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to our weekly training call. Today, I think, is a very important case study. And one of the reasons why it's an important case study is it's because we see hundreds and hundreds of clients just like this one I'm going to show you every single year. I mean, I'm talking like maybe five, six, 700 of these people. And I'm going to show you guys how to plan this case. This was actually sent to me by one of our top advisors, and they just wanted me to go over it with you guys because they thought it'd be really beneficial. But I'm also going to show you how I do the insurance illustration to do product placement. Okay, I told this advisor that I thought that the case was already pretty much done because they got a 55-year-old single person with no kids to get approved for insurance. So in my mind, everything has been done really well up to this point, and now it's just the rest is just details. Like I think we said, 80 to 90% of the sales already been made. If you can get a single person to get approved for insurance, whatever you said and the way you position it, it was probably perfect. And now all we need to do is just do the product implementation. But for those of you guys who are not familiar with the insurance side of the sales process, I know a lot of you guys do life insurance all day long every day, but there's a lot of us that don't. And a lot of us that may have forgotten how to do it and why to do it. And truthfully, it's not always the easiest sale in the world, but I do believe it's one of the most important sales. So in this particular case, we're going to look at this model, and we're going to change this person's life. And there's a bunch of different reasons why we're going to change their life, but it has nothing to do with the stock market or rate of return or annuities or AUM, right? We're going to change this person's life because we're going to be giving them a plan that is going to give them some more protection in case they outlive their money or in case they need long-term care. And those are really the only two main focuses that people care about when they're single, right? Am I going to run out of money, and how am I going to afford quality health care when I'm elderly, right? So I don't have to ask a single person what's important to them and what they're interested in. I already know. All right. So to that end, this 55-year-old Wendy Watanabe, I just changed her name, she bought long-term care right through the government. She's 55 and she wants to retire at 62. So the advisor that sent this in did a great job on the model. This is actually the model that was sent over. It's a government employee, making decent money for a single person. And you'll see here that they are, coming close to, if not completely maxing out their retirement account at work, their TSP in this case. They're getting the government match, and they're also doing a little bit of money into the Roth, right? So they got some money in Vanguard, not much, not too much else is going on. And of course, they don't have any money anywhere else. And this is not an uncommon thing. So a lot of guys out there, if they're in the investment world or they are in the annuity world, they're not going to look at this person as a potential client because the most they could really invest is this $39,000 Roth, and that's not going to be enough money most of the time to get a case going. However, if we're seeing a 55-year-old, we know in 4 years this retirement account becomes available for us. So a $664,000 retirement account will be $750,000, $800,000 in a few years, and then we'll be able to add that to our book of business. If we do this a couple hundred times a year, and these people just start becoming of age, I think that's one of the reasons why our CRM and our sort of passive book of business has been so successful. We literally have hundreds of people every single year, hundreds upon hundreds in our database that we sold insurance to or did something small for years ago, and now they're coming of age every single year. And then we're acquiring these clients without having to acquire any more marketing costs or doing a whole lot of anything else other than just following up with our existing clients. So that's a real positive. The problem here, there's a couple problems here, but before I get to the problems, let's just go right to the projections for retirement and the reason why this model is so important. So at 62, and this is a really great thing, at age 62, even with minimal Social Security, she's going to get $22,000 a year based upon her contribution. So we have her $22,000 a year Social Security here. We have her federal pension here, which is $46,000, and then we have $50,000, which is roughly 4% of what she can take out of her retirement accounts. So when all three of her legs of her three-legged stool are in motion at 62, if she decides to turn them on, she will make $119,000 a year gross. I would argue that $119,000 in retirement is actually worth more than $127,000 now. The main reason for that, there's two main reasons for that. Okay? The first main reason for that is that you don't have to save in retirement. So this 19,000 that's coming off of this 127, she's not really making 127, right? She's making 107 because she's deferring 20, right? So she's actually going to be feeling like she's making more money in retirement than she's making now. So that's one big positive. And the second really big positive is she's going to have some debt that's paid off, right? Her auto loan will be paid off, and this personal loan or whatever this is will be paid off. And I don't know, I don't have the details of the interest rate or the months to pay here, but I can tell you just by looking at it, it'll be paid off in 2 years, right? Because whatever the interest rate is, $1,000 a month, $24,000 in 2 years, this thing will be paid off. So that's a lot of, she'll have a lot of money that's freed up in retirement. So she should be great. She should be very, very comfortable. And again, the only two things that she really is going to be concerned about at all is how is she going to be paid for care, pay for care, and she already has long-term care. And you want to make sure that she doesn't run out of money, right? Now, here's the good news, bad news. Good news is income's very high. Bad news is taxes are probably going to be worse. Here's our tax reference guide, right? And we got a single person, and you'll see here that she is making between 85 and 163, right? Taxable income. She's in the 24% tax bracket. She's never going to leave this bracket. That's clear. She'll never make more than 163, and she'll never make less than 85. So if this is the case, it's a very simple conversation. Hey, you're not going to go into a lower tax bracket, which basically means you're going to go into a higher tax bracket. Have you given this any thought? Right? Very, very simple question. Your taxes are going to get worse. Have you given this any thought? Oh, and by the way, everything you have is really taxable. Social Security is taxable, your pension's taxable, and all the money in your retirement account is taxable. Have you ever considered doing some more tax sheltering? And of course, this advisor who sent this case in did a great job at explaining this to the person because she already got him approved for insurance. So it basically means that they've already had this tax conversation. We've talked about tax sheltering. We've talked about diversifying. We've talked about, hey, maybe we don't need to be putting quite so much money into our retirement account. Right, here's the simplest of all calculations. 1.1 million, right? And this person's working for 7 more years, 55 to 62. Well, maybe we should put some of this money in something that's not taxable. So rather than putting in 19,000, let's just put in the 6. The 6,000 is what you're getting matched, right? Watch what happens to our 1.1 million when we reduce our contributions by 2/3. Right? Rather than putting 19, we're going to put in 6. We still have $1 million. Right? So we only have like $100,000 less money in there. It's not really going to change a whole lot of stuff. But the extra $10,000, or in this case $13,000 a year, that she's not putting into her TSP, she can put it into something tax sheltered. Right? Literally, over the next 7 years, right, she can fund some additional money into a tax sheltered account rather than overfunding this retirement account. By overfunding this retirement account, all she's really doing is tying more of her money up in government-controlled accounts. And I'll ask her, was it really your intention to tie up all of your money in these government-controlled accounts? And when you ask people that type of question in that fashion, they realize, wow, I never really thought about it. No, that was not my intention. So I can redirect some of this overmatch. I'll plot this back here now again so you can see it. 1 million goes to 1,100,000. I mean, literally, there's only $100,000 more in there, right? And she's putting in $13,000 a year more than she needs to be putting in for 7 years, right? So that's a huge difference. $13,000 a year times 7. What is that? Times 7 equals 91,000. She's putting in 91,000 to get 100,000. That's not much of a gain there, and it's all controlled by the government. So let's do something different, shall we? Let's do money in non-government controlled accounts that will build up some tax-free money for you and will enhance your long-term care benefit because those are the two main things you're concerned about, right? So we'll reduce this overmatch just to the 5% rather than all the extra money. But there's another opportunity in here, right? She's saving money in her money market, which is fantastic. But let's look at the debt window, right? I know that she can take a loan from her retirement account and she'll pay less than 2% interest, right? And I know that the payment on that would be about $350 a month. So I can save her another $650 a month and save her a ton of interest, right, by using a retirement account loan to pay off her personal loan. And I don't think her personal loan is going to be at 1.8% interest. It's probably going to be higher than that. So I want to take that loan out. I want to pay this off, and I want to free her up of this money here. So that's going to free up about $600 a month in loan payments. Plus, we freed up, another $1,000 a month, $1,300 a month by not putting so much money into TSP. So we're up to about $2,000 a month of money that we freed up. That's pretty awesome. That $2,000 a month is pretty awesome. So where do I want to put that $2,000 a month? I want to put it all in tax shelters. I want to do Roth, and I want to do insurance. That's the solution, guys. But you got to identify the problem first. And most people don't realize until you hit them on the head with it, oh my gosh, you're going to pay a higher tax in retirement than you're paying now because you're going to be in the same tax bracket, and everything you have is taxable. And when the government tries to mess with you, there's nothing you're going to do about it. There's nothing you're going to be able to do about it. You're going to be stuck. So shall we unstuck ourselves and diversify and enhance benefits? Why not, right? So here is the problem identification, pretty simple. We got her to go through the medical underwriting process, got her approved for insurance, and now we just have to provide her with a solution. I don't necessarily think that we need to cancel out her long-term care insurance with the government, even unless she wants to, but I do know they're going to mess with her. She's so young. This is a ton of money, almost $300 a month to be paying for a pretty ridiculously low benefit. This is not a good deal, right? So whether she wants to cash this out on her own or not, it's on her. But we can probably save her that money also, right? Because we've got $2,000 a month that we're going to be redirecting. Part of it's going to be going into more Roth, and part of it's going to be going into insurance. That's our solution. And it's going to be a huge game changer for her, and I'll show you in a second. Okay? But again, we're selling her the insurance, number one, because it's going to be a huge benefit for her. But number two, we're selling it to her to make her a client so that when she becomes of age, we're going to get the rest of her retirement account money. And that sale will already be postured and positioned. So we'll also be discussing with her exit strategy. We'll be talking to her about her TSP, but because there's a few years before she's going to retire or she'll turn 59 and a half and we can get that money, we don't want to get her too crazy about, hey, you got to do this, you got to do that, because she can't for a few years. We'll just kind of maintain status quo for right now. Okay? So hopefully, again, this is pretty simple and basic, and we don't want to overcomplicate it for the client, because typically if we have trouble making this sale, it's because the problem is our problem. It's not the client's problem. If we have a problem selling insurance to a single person, that's our problem. The clients want it. They need it. It's going to be a huge deal for them. But if we are saying to ourselves, well, gee, why would a single person want insurance? That's our problem, right? Don't impress that upon your client. Let's just simplify it. I'll show you how easy it is, get you to believe in it, and you guys can go out and make more of these sales. And by the way, when I show you this sale, this is a custom designed illustration for this person. It is purely driven by what we call resources. It has nothing to do with us telling the client, hey, you need to buy more insurance. It's got nothing to do with that, right? This is purely resource driven. It's us saying to them, hey, we're going to redirect some money that you have that is going towards debt, and it's going towards over funding your retirement account, and we think it would be much, much better going into insurance to tax shelter your money and get you some more benefit. Okay? Here's how it works. $250,000 insurance policy, right? Very simple. We're going to overfund it for the first 10 years by a little bit. So the base premium was $7,000 a year, but we're going to put in $12,000 a year because I want to put in $1,000 a month into this plan. We identified $2,000 a month of extra money. I want some of that money going to an insurance. I want some of that money going into Roth. All right. So when you put 12,000 bucks into this insurance right here in the first year, $4,800 is available for immediate withdrawal. All right. It's in the cash value immediately. Why is the entire 12,000 not available? Well, the main reason is because this company is on the hook for $250,000, now $260,000 of benefit if this person were to die or need long-term care. This company's on the hook from day one, right? So they need to put some money in reserves, and we obviously know that they actually have to pay us a commission to do this also, right? But the main issue right here is all of the money is not available in the first year, and that's not uncommon. I mean, it's not expected. You shouldn't have access to all your money, right? We want some leverage, and this is what we're buying here. We're putting some of the burden of the risk of us dying or needing long-term care on the insurance company. So every year that goes by that we don't die or we don't need long-term care, they give us more of our money back. And right here is just a really great math numbers because I can see it. As early as year 4 to year 5, right? Look how much the policy cash value increases by. It increases by 12,000 bucks. Well, how much is she putting in? 12,000 bucks. So as early as the 4th year, she's now getting back directly into her liquid tax-free cash 100% of what she's putting in each year. That's a pretty good deal because what that means is from now on for the rest of her life, she's now going to be making money. Right? So she's making as much money back. And the year before that, by the way, she was putting in 12, she was getting back 11. That's not a bad deal. That's an incredible deal. Right? You still got the $250,000 of insurance. The year before that, she puts in 12, she gets back 11. The year before that, she puts in 12, she gets back 7. 7, 11, 11, 12. That's pretty unbelievable, guys. Let's go to another year. I can do the math real quick here, very simply. Year 9, she puts in 12. Her policy goes from 100 to 116. What does that represent? 4% tax-free rate of return, right? 100's in there. You add 12. That's 112. It grows to 16. It's 4%, right? Maybe 3.7% tax-free. Not a bad rate of return, but it gets better, right? This $200,000 worth of death benefit, by the time this woman reaches life expectancy, let's say 91, it's now worth $750,000 bucks. How much of that is accessible for long-term care? The majority of it. Tax-free, by the way. This is what is going to protect her retirement account from having to get cashed in. All right, so this $750,000 benefit at life expectancy is available for her. And the entire time, in the meanwhile, if she needed any cash, this net cash value, also tax-free, is liquid. So here's one of the coolest things. I dropped their premium down after 10 years to $7,000, right? And that's mostly because we're going to be taking the premium to pay for this. We're going to be taking it from her retirement account. It's not going to be coming from her income anymore. She may still want to pay in 12. You could come to me and say, well, gee, why would I not put in 12 if I'm still making such a great rate of return? She can now put in 7 and see her cash value now still grows by 12, right? 127 to 139. This becomes an amazing deal. I mean, down the road, in retirement, let me just look at her here. Here it is right here. Now, again, 210 to 226. That's a $16,000 increase, right? Based upon her $7,000 contribution. She can stop this contribution anytime she wants, by the way. She doesn't have to put in the 7. But I would recommend that by putting in the 7, she's going to double her benefit for long-term care and her death benefit from $400 to $800 over her lifetime. So go ahead and put in the 7. If you don't want to put in the 7, don't put in the 7, but then everything's not going to grow anymore. And it's completely up to you. Right? It's completely up to you. But most of our clients, like I said, they're more concerned about this benefit being able to increase to give them some tax-free long-term care. In this case, it's called chronic illness benefit. Right? It's an indemnity plan, not a reimbursement plan. So if you're not familiar with it, look it up. It's way better to have an indemnity plan rather than a reimbursement plan. It's light years better for everybody, right? And if she needs the cash, she's got access to the cash. And if she takes out the $260 of cash, she still has roughly the same $250 of insurance she started out with, right? That corridor of insurance is being maintained, and that's all people want. There's no stock market fluctuations in this. There's no cost of insurance being deducted from here. It's just a standard, traditional, basic insurance policy. No moving parts, no fluctuations, as simple as it can be. So we don't need to make it more complicated than this. This single person is going to want this plan. They're going to want it for tax sheltered purposes. They're going to want it to enhance their insurance benefits. They're going to want it so they can control this type of benefit where the government doesn't have control over. It's free from liability. It's free from creditors. It's outside of her estate. There's so many different things tax-free wise that you can do here. There's just so many layers of benefit here. But don't make it more complicated than it really needs to be. Right? We're redirecting her life and her plan to include more tax sheltered benefits, to include diversification into things that are not based on the stock market, to give her access to more money, to it doesn't have to replace this long-term care, but it certainly can help either complement, supplement it, or if she wants to replace it, that's fine too. It's going to enable her to retire early and not have to worry about running out of money, right? It's going to do so many different things for her. It's going to pay off her debt. It's going to create some additional cash flow for her. And again, this is just $1,000 a month. And we identified $2,000 a month. So the additional, we want to shove more money into Roth, right? We're not talking charitable trusts here. We're not talking advanced planning strategies. But down the road, I definitely want to introduce her to these things. We're just taking somebody who thought they were doing this the best thing they could, were good savers, and put all their money into government-controlled accounts, all taxable, and is now realizing, hey, gee, because of my tax situation and because of access to the money, and because we know the government's going to come after us, I think maybe it's time to diversify. And we can diversify into places that will enhance our retirement income, will enhance our tax-sheltered estate planning, will enhance our insurance benefit, and will give us nothing but positive benefits. There's no lose scenario for this person. It's all win-win-win. Okay? It's up to us to be able to convey this to somebody, though, without getting in our own way, right? I'm not going to show an income stream coming out of this retirement account. Guys, the life insurance that I just showed you, I apologize, I'm not going to show income coming out of here. You know why? Because she's probably never going to use it. If it's there, she can buy a car, she can take cruises, she can do whatever she wants. She's probably never going to use this money. More than likely, she's never going to use the cash, but she probably will use the benefit, the life insurance or the long-term care, probably the long-term care benefit, right? Don't show her an income stream coming out of here. She's never going to spend it. That's for the weak-minded, right? She's got enough money. We're setting up a protection for her in case taxes get out of hand. She can go get more money. Right? We're setting up protection for her in case healthcare costs, assisted living, long-term care gets out of hand. She's got a nice giant pot of tax-free money to get to. We're not setting up a tax-free retirement for her. That's not what we're doing. Okay? Keep it really simple, guys. Don't go down the path of doing comparisons of illustrations and rates of return and products and this and that and the other thing. It'll take you down a rabbit hole. It'll waste time, and it'll confuse your client. Okay, just keep it simple. If you do and you believe in it, they're going to want it, and it's going to be better for them. And maybe they have nieces or nephews, maybe they have charities, maybe they have other people that they're going to leave money to, but it's a game changer for their estate. We're going to be creating an additional $600,000-$700,000 to their estate, tax free. That if they don't need it or use it, it's going to go to somebody. Do this a couple hundred times a year. You're actually going to make a difference in this world. You're going to make a difference in this country, right? Don't do it. This person dies, their estate gets obliterated by taxes, and nobody won. Right? Nobody made out at all. And she lived in fear because she doesn't have any protection here. Right? She doesn't have any protection from the government. She doesn't have any protection, by the way. There's no protection for her premium. We know she's going to get clobbered by long-term care premium increases. Right? There's no protection if they change the rules on a retirement account. There's no protection from increased taxation. She doesn't have any protection. Protect this lady, help her. Give her the benefits that she needs and wants. Introduce her to how simple it is and start implementing these plans. You do a few hundred of these, you can really make a humongous difference, and you can set yourself up to capture tons and tons of new assets. So if you do, 10 of these a year, which is almost nothing, you can build an additional revenue stream for yourself. If you do 100 of these a year, in our office, we do a couple hundred of these a year. If you did 100 of these a year, which a lot of people would shy away from these cases because like, oh, there's nothing here. I've literally seen people who I've worked with that have said there's nothing here. I said, what do you mean there's nothing here? You're changing this person's life, right? You're restructuring their debt. You're redirecting their overmatch. You're adding more tax shelter stuff to their life. And if you do this 100 times, is it okay with you if you make an extra $600,000 a year? That's what we're talking about here. You do it a couple times a month, just a couple times a month. You make an extra 100 grand a year, maybe more, right? So we can move your needle, but more important than moving the needle and doing these cases is setting yourselves up for future success and giving this person some worry-free retirement, not tax-free retirement income. She's going to get there. We can definitely do more, and we'll do more later on, but this is just the beginning. This is getting her started with the insurance, reducing her what she's putting in, restructuring her debt, freeing up cash, and making her feel like she's got a plan. All right, more important than anything else is now she's got a roadmap to follow, and she's never had that before. And if stuff goes haywire in the stock market and haywire tax-wise, she now has something to fall back on. All right, so this is a really simple, easy conversation. It's enjoyable. She'll be grateful. It's a win-win. Please, listen to this one over and over again. Don't overcomplicate it. Don't do any more daggone illustrations. Just do one simple one that's resource-driven that makes sense, and implement it and get her to give you a check. She's got plenty of money in here. Pay for it monthly if you want to. But do whatever you need to do to move her along in a positive manner to get this type of plan started, and she'll be thanking you, and it'll be much, much better off. I've got probably thousands of these cases on the books right now that I've done in the past. All right, so anyway, thank you guys very much. It's a really quick half hour. I know hopefully was helpful. You can use this for your staff training. Talk to your clients, your prospects. This is like, this could be a 45-year-old. It could be a married couple that has kids that is doing the same stuff. It could be anybody that's under 59 and a half where we don't have access to rolling over their retirement accounts yet. Don't forget about the insurance sample. All right, don't forget about the long-term benefits, and don't sell them term insurance, for crying out loud. If they can qualify for permanent insurance now, they're going to be so far ahead of the game. All right, thank you guys very much. Have a great day. Take care of each other, and we'll talk soon. Bye-bye.